Assassin's Creed Shadow. Let me tell you guys something. Years ago, when they announced that they're making an Assassin's Creed game based in Japan, I knew something like this would happen. It's not a surprise that this is currently the most hated game at the moment. And for good reasons. It seems like words are getting around, and I'm happy to see many people, including Japanese like myself, we are strongly voicing our opinion of this disaster of a game. And you know what? We have every right to be pissed. And to my Japanese viewers out there, これは黒人を段にしたアジア人差別ですよ。我々はもっと抗議した方がいい。白人は本当に黒人を利用するのが好きなんだね。Ugh. This is an insult to Japanese culture, and it's becoming so widespread that even Japanese politician is getting into the action. I mean, this is awesome, but let me explain why Japanese are frustrated. This game involves the protagonist, Yasuke. Ubisoft is calling this character Yasuke a historically accurate samurai figure. Except, he's not a samurai. This is yet again one of those instances where people in the West often claim themselves to be experts over Asian culture. You are not an expert in Asian culture. The real historical Yasuke met Nobunaga for less than a year, then sold back to Jesuits and never obtained the rank as a samurai. There is no way a man could learn the way of the Bushido and way of the sword within less than 1 year. And now, people in the West now claim that he was so good that he rose to power and become one of the inner circle of the most famous warlord in Japan. How ridiculous does that sound? 99.99% of the population in this historical period were Japanese. They were Asian, but Ubisoft decides to take advantage of the fact that one black person once arrived there and create a black samurai who was not actually a samurai. He doesn't even speak Japanese. And let me be clear here, the protagonist being black is not the issue. The Japanese audiences have not criticized works like Netflix's Yasuke or Afro Samurai. And there are numerous anime featuring protagonists with African appearances. Japanese viewers don't judge a work primarily based on characters' physical features like hair or skin colors. The main criticism stems from people in the West, the developers, implying historical accuracy of something they don't understand. There is no historical evidence supporting Yasuke as this legendary samurai, the best samurai in Japan. It's nothing but an insult to Japanese and an insult to Asian men. And why is that, by the way? Why is it an insult to Asian men? Well, think about it, guys. Every single Assassin's Creed game has a male lead that represents the appropriate setting. Let me say that again. Assassin's Creed game has a male lead that is appropriate for the setting and essential to the plot. Well, if this is true, then where is the Asian man lead? How come this is true for every single setting, but when it comes to Assassin's Creed in Asia, we don't get an Asian man lead? That doesn't make sense. Maybe it has something to do with the Western narrative of Asian girl is good, but Asian guy is bad, so we cast something else instead. There are 3 Assassin's Creed games that take place in Asia. In China, Japan, and ancient China, with no Asian male lead. Assassin's Creed Chronicle has a female assassin whose name is Xiao Jun. 2 characters, 1 Asian woman and an African man carrying the flag for Shadows. And then, the upcoming Assassin's Creed Jade. That takes place in ancient China. Yet again, no Asian male lead. I would prefer it if Ubisoft, and the West in general, stop exploiting my culture and parading it like your yellow fever Disneyland. This game truly represents your typical Western protagonist setting, which usually involves an Asian girl, without an Asian man. Of course, the Asian girl is always accompanied by another person, typically a guy. A white guy, to be exact. Because obviously yellow fever, but sometimes it's something else. And if you ask me, I'd rather see something else than your typical and obvious Western agenda that is white guy and Asian girl. I've seen it too many times in Western films and television series, and it's obviously an agenda at this point, especially when Western films usually portray Asian men as the character that are often emasculated, weak, effeminate, and often gay. Not that there is anything wrong with gay, but not every Asian man is gay, as is often portrayed in Western films, And what better way to win the population of Asian girls than to trash the competition, right? And just a little history here. I know I can get off track because I'm a history fanatic, but this idea that Asian men are emasculate can be traced back to white people. Insecurities over the male Chinese labor force during and after the construction of transcontinental railroad in the 19th century, where it is often seen that Asian men were stronger, faster, and better. Just goes to show that if you bash China, it does impact all of us. So think about that for me, will you? And this game. Assassin's Creed Shadow is just another attempt to further emasculate Asian man. Think about it. A 6'5" muscular African man in the 1600s? Really, guys? Come on, get real! I mean, he is literally there to show how much bigger and better he is, to demonstrate that he towers over them, clearly displaying for everyone how emasculate his opponent is. And the only reason why they choose a black person instead of a white person is so that they can get away with it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Asian girl somehow falls for a white guy at the end of this game. It's an agenda, and as I've said over and over again, the more you embrace Western ideology and governance, the more we surrender control to them, particularly as Asians. This leads to detrimental consequences, such as the division between Asian men and women and a culture of white worship. They aim to make us believe that they are superior and better options. And I know I'm not the only one who see through this, and frankly, I'm sick of it. Well, that is it for the video. Make sure to like and subscribe as it is good for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll see you guys next time.